Well, first of all, we're excited about being here and having an opportunity to play in this tournament. Obviously, it's going to be a very talented tournament. Obviously, all four teams deserve to be here, and we're looking forward to the challenge with ECU. Obviously, they're coming off winning their conference tournament, so yeah, we're excited. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about Billy Barlow and how he's played and just his contribution to the team this year, and obviously him being able to be home this week, so to speak, and be able to be in front of family and friends, and kind of just what that means for him and just the contribution he's made to the program?
Yeah, he's been kind of like a Swiss Army knife, so to speak. He's been a little bit of everything for us. He started for us. He's been a middle reliever for us. He's closed some games for us. Really selfless. There's a little bit of a different look for us because he throws a sinker. But yeah, just excited for him to have the opportunity to come back home for sure.
We pitched a lot of innings since pitching in the NCAA tournament last year. I guess how much better prepared do you feel second year?
Yeah, definitely prepared a lot. I didn't have the greatest postseason last year, but I think through that failure, I kind of learned a lot about myself and kind of what it takes to pitch at an elite level. So I think last year just helped prepare me well and kind of take that into tomorrow.
And there's a guy with 18, kind of in your same shoes as last year. You guys going to be counting. What's impressed you most just about him being a freshman?
I mean, just everything he does, really. The way he carries himself is super good. He's super hardworking. He's able to command all four of his pitches for strikes. And then obviously his stuff is really good. So when you combine those three, you usually get success. And I think he does all of those pretty well.
Coach, what do you know about East Carolina? What did you learn this week about the Fires?
Well, anytime you win a conference tournament, they're playing their best baseball at the end of the year. I know they've had some injuries, probably similar to us. Obviously, they have a real number one in Norby. They try to apply pressure on the bases. They try to apply pressure with the short game. Obviously, they've had a ton of success under Cliff, and obviously, it's going to be challenging for us. There's no question.
You didn't get to do this part last year. Just what's it like to kind of be back on the stage for you?
Yeah, man, it's awesome. Obviously, it's my fourth year. I've got to kind of see how this goes a couple times, but being able to actually be on the field this time, man, it's really exciting for sure.
Just how much higher confidence you have. You've been playing a lot better lately. What's that done for your confidence?
Yeah, man, it's been really good. Especially the kind of run we've been having lately. Just being able to help play a part in that, it's been a blast.
You've been through this process before you played in the College World Series. Is there conversations, or what's the message like maybe to a guy like Brendan Lawson who hasn't played on this stage?
I mean, honestly, man, with the way we've been playing lately, I mean, it's just like another game. Just stay the course of what we've been doing here lately. We've been on a good run, so just trying to play the same baseball we've been playing, not really try to treat it any different.
So you've had 2 years in a row where your teams kind of did some unexpected things. Last year making them off, this year turning around. What's the most important thing that goes into that? Like when a team does that?
Well, I think a lot was learned last year about staying the course, and we honestly last year we played playoff baseball for a good 6-7 weeks, and we kind of put ourselves in the same position this year. And I think we all of us learned a lot from last year's experience. To be sitting there at 1-11 in the league, and then having to go through the injuries that we've had to go through, it's been, if I said it's been enjoyable, that would be a huge understatement. So I mean, I'm looking at the BP rounds today, and we literally have 10 position players that are healthy. We have 2 others that we trying to redshirt, and we got Caden McDonald, who came in as a two-way, and he just started taking BP a couple of weeks ago, out of necessity, who hasn't had a bat all year long. So what this team has been able to accomplish and stick together, and our best players got better, and that's exactly what happened. And then obviously, Ty to my left has got experience and leadership skills, and he can really give a lot to our team in that aspect, just not what he does on the field. Liam has turned into a real number one in our league, and how difficult this league is, and you're never going to get to this point unless you have a real number one. And, obviously Aiden King and getting Capola back was huge to fill out the rotation. And I think moving Jake to the back end of the bullpen really solidified things for us. Because losing is difficult in itself, but when you get in a position where you're losing games late in the 8th and 9th inning, it could be demoralizing for everybody involved. You can feel we got this one, and then all of a sudden it gets taken away from you. So moving Jake to the back end and us having confidence that he's going to give us his best effort certainly kind of put things together for us, I think.
Just one last thing, Brady, that's a catcher's important part. How's he handle that transition, moving into that spot full-time late in the season here?
You're talking about Brody Donay?
Brody, I'm sorry.
Yeah. He's been great. He's caught a lot last year, for us, and obviously, Luka did the majority of the catching this year, but he's filled in great. If you go back and look, one of the biggest moments we had last year was when he when he had to pick off in a bunt situation at Clemson. And I think that sometimes gets overlooked because the game was so exciting and so back and forth. But that play in itself, when he picked off, I forget who it was, in a bunt situation at first, was a huge turning point in that ball game.
Anything else over here? All right, if there's anybody on the Zoom call that wants to go ahead and shout out your questions, go ahead.
This could just be for the group, anybody that wants to answer, but you guys mentioned how well you guys have been playing to close out the regular season. What do you guys feel like is the key to keeping that up in the postseason, and how much did the way you guys finish the regular season give you guys confidence moving forward?
Yeah, I think a big key to that was just us kind of starting to play for each other. I think we were kind of getting really uptight when we were 1-11 and kind of playing, not to lose rather than to win. So I think when we started playing a little more loose and for each other, that's when we started seeing success. So just kind of keeping that same mindset throughout the postseason and not trying to make anything bigger than it is and just keeping the momentum.
Yeah, when you get late in the year like this, man, like all the individual stats and stuff, they don't really matter. Everything that you've done at the beginning of the year or whatnot, your stats, it really doesn't mean anything whenever you get into the postseason. So just being able to play for each other, man, and stack good at bats, throw some good innings for your team. I mean, that's how you play good postseason baseball.
Yeah, and I think, these guys will tell you, we never wavered as a group throughout the year. From my position, not only are you trying to keep the team together, but you're also trying to keep the staff together, and everybody's got to stay on the same page. And lucky enough for us, the players were able to hold it together, and the coaches were too. But we never wavered that we were not going to turn this thing around, regardless of the injuries and everything else. And I think, in looking back, maybe that Arkansas series was a big one for us, because obviously they were considered one of the best teams in the country, and I think that gave us a lot of confidence that we could play with the best teams in the country. I think obviously the Texas series, when we went on the road to Austin, was a big series for us, and playing a really good Alabama team at the end of the year. So, there was a lot of things that went into it, but these guys, they never wavered, and they believed that that we were going to get this thing turned around.
Also for you coaches, how much of a lift can it be to get Colby back?
Yeah, he's still day to day. This is one of those things. It's not like a hamstring where it's subjective of where you're at. I mean, he has an incision on his hand, and it's still quite not there yet. And in all fairness to him too, he hasn't had any live at bats. He hasn't been able to throw. So we'll take it day by day. But if he's not able to play this weekend, hopefully we get him back next weekend if we're still playing. It's really that simple.
Thanks, guys.
All good for these
Coach,
guys?
when you look,
Go ahead.
Coach, when you look at your team compared to the rest of the field, no pun intended, what do you think sets your team apart primarily as far as specific characteristics?
I think resiliency. I mean, when you're faced with adversity, I mean, we really take it one pitch at a time and one game at a time when we were in that position. And, I don't think since the SEC expanded since '92 that a team has ever made the postseason with a record of 2-10 or less or worse. So, we literally took it game by game, and we did not look ahead. We respected everybody we played. We knew what we needed to do. And, you know, if we're ever in this position again like we were last year, I mean, we could always go back to this, and it could be done. So the players deserve all the credit. They're the ones that have to go out and play. And fortunately enough for us, we got on a run.